Well, today is going to be a somber one, as it's Observance Day. Today, we will be remembering all the lives lost to the fires, floods, earthquakes, and tsunamis in the last few years we were on Earth. None of us remember, but 2 billion lives were lost due to climate change in the last decade before ascending. This is to the cause of these events.
We interrupt this scheduled broadcast for a breaking news update from the Sticky Buttons podcast.
You went on a little vacation, got out of the city? Is that what I hear?
Got some fresh air. Got to get out of this New York City smog for a bit. Went over to York, Pennsylvania. Shouts out to York. They treated me nicely out there. Stayed in a hotel. I got to go on a hike. I got to, drive around the historical district. Very historic town. I was going to go, see Amish County, but I wasn't able to get out there. That's something for next time.
That's that might be a good thing you missed out on that, because I hear that the Amish community's been hit really hard with the COVID, because they think the mask is against their religious beliefs. So, wow. Which. I mean, good. I mean, whatever. That's up to them, Not to get political here, but
yeah,
we actually back from where I'm from. There's a little Amish community,
really,
and I think it's called Shipshawana. I think that's the name of the little town. But we'd always go there and get some of their meats, because my mom was always against the antibiotic meats. And they were antibiotic free. So that was always something that we did. The Amish are cool, man. I'm excited for you to check that out. Have you been to an Amish community before?
I never have, but it's good that you mentioned the meats. I'm sure that their meats are probably amazing, and I've heard that their woodworking is also very impeccable.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to check that out.
Have you ever checked out have you actually ever done woodworking before?
Yeah, actually, my father and I do woodworking together, pretty regularly. He's really into it, and I just like to observe and pick up some things. Hopefully someday I'll get as good.
What kind of projects do you guys do? Is it more small stuff, or do you guys build canoes or chairs or?
So we've built shelves, we've built benches, we've built carts, we've built cabinets. Well, not cabinets per se. We can't do drawers, but things to hold. Cutting boards is my dad's specialty. He can make a really nice dice pattern cutting board.
Oh, those are cool. I've seen some of those.
Yeah,
that's really awesome. Have you ever has he ever done anything mess with the dyes and made them the purple wood? Have you maybe that's a real? I don't think that's a real wood. That's a dye, right? Do you know?
Yeah, so that's called a stain. You can stain the wood. And yeah, we do have some stains, some finishes out there, all sorts of good stuff.
You guys should make a board.
What kind of board?
Oh man, you can do paddleboard, you can do surfboard, you do
oh, okay, I see.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but then I guess that would be pretty big. That'd take up quite a bit of space. You'd probably do
the idea.
A penny board or something. Or one of those teardrop ones.
How about a snowboard? I want to make a snowboard for your winter.
Would snowboard? That would be sick. I wonder. Oh, dude, you should totally do that.
Yeah.
Or just make a top to go on. You could just put the a pattern or a top. You still have to have breaks for the flexibility.
Yeah.
But that'd be cool. A little phone, a cover thing, a phone cover, but for a snowboard. That'd be dope.
We'll get into the physics of it. We love getting into the science behind things, designing wood. It's always a challenge to get it exactly because we don't quite have the tools that we like.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, and I wonder how that would work, because wood's a pretty flexible. Anything's brittle at some point. If you bend the snowboard enough, it's gonna snap into. But I bet wood would probably be a good complement to that.
And also a snowboard, something that we'd have to treat with probably certain type of chemical to make it protected from
Waterproof,
the
yeah.
water and stuff. I hope I don't dislocate my shoulder trying it up.
Have you ever been before?
Yeah, I love snowboarding. I prefer it over skiing.
I'm a
It's
big skier. I like each foot in its own boot.
each foot in its own, but I mean I haven't done it as much as snowboarding, so I can't really say. But like, yeah, I just love going down a slope.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I also love. Gosh, I just love it so much.
Yeah, we
I
should
give it
go. We should
every
go down
opportunity.
this winter.
Dude, I'd be down, man. The last time that I went, it was Christmas this past year. I went with the old Patagonia crew.
Ah, yes, I remember that.
Wyndham Mountain, and I had some food poisoning, so I was the
Oh man,
kid that was throwing up on the bus, which not a fan of that. I like called my mom. I was like, Mom, I have food poisoning. Like I'm throwing up. And she's like, Blake, shut up, throw up, get back on the slopes, and then just go throw up again. I was like, yes, ma'am. She was all
gotta
about.
love.
I love that. I know. All right, let's talk about some video games, man. I want to bring up something that happened since our last episode. So the last episode we talked about the consoles, and we were kind of saying how we were like kind of happy that Microsoft is kind of like taking a stance against like getting like console exclusives. But then they they turned around and bought ZeniMax Media, which owns Bethesda, for just a casual $7.5 billion,
Wow.
which is a lot of money. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that's a really big move by Microsoft to do. And if there's any player who's going to do it, it's going to be Microsoft. Bethesda's given us many greats like Skyrim, Elder Scrolls. They've given us just a number of great pieces, but that's one that's like really resonated with me. That was actually my first game on Xbox 360, funny enough. I think that's a ballsy move. They're probably going to make an exclusive, something really open, and it's going to draw people over to Xbox.
Yeah. I wonder if they are going to make it exclusive. I'm kind of wondering if I'm very interested to see what happens, because it almost seems like every move that they're making is kind of like, we're just going to do our own thing, and kind of like not really focus on like a console exclusive. And then they did this, so I'm wondering if maybe it's more of an acquisition for the future to also be able to have like a revenue stream coming from like other platforms.
For sure. That it seems like they've been diversifying a lot recently. They purchased Mojang Studios and Minecraft and all of that. And
a lot.
so they really like branching out, and I think, I mean, it's Microsoft, so what do you expect? I wouldn't be surprised if 5-10 years down the line, they've definitely taken over this next gen kind of thing with cloud computing, because Sony doesn't really have that like in with Microsoft, like cloud. They don't really have a cloud service, but Microsoft does provide cloud services, and they're really good at it. So
I think that if you, dear listener, were looking to do your own research on this, you definitely should. But I think that you can like play like a whole class of games like on like a smartphone, like is kind of like with their cloud gaming kind of thing. So like I think if you wanted to, you could just jump on and play like Halo like on the subway kind of. I mean, like obviously I think you'd have to have like an internet connection, but if you're like taking an Amtrak, or a flight somewhere, I think that you could like potentially play like the whole time. So they've really been investing in that, and I think it's cool because having those services kind of takes down the barriers to entry,
right,
as far as like cost wise goes, and as far as playing a video game. Because I think I really don't know, but I think it's like less than $20 for like a subscription, and you can like get into those on your phone.
Yeah, for sure. Xbox Game Pass is really affordable.
I was checking out Bethesda's website a little bit, and they kind of said they're like why they're doing it, and they kind of mentioned that they're like, we're going to be able to make better games, like Microsoft has better resources, and I think that's that's really interesting, because I mean, quite frankly, like Microsoft should be for their size, they should really be like outpacing and outclassing Sony But Sony does have like a distinctive like competitive advantage in their like console exclusives. If that kind of went away and like the culture kind of decided that that's not really what we wanted anymore, I think that Microsoft is really setting itself up for some really cool long-term success. Anyways, we're talking about Nintendo today.
Yeah.
Contrary to just rambling about Microsoft, but so tell me, what was your first Nintendo console?
My first Nintendo console had to be a Game Boy Advance. I had gotten it from my uncle, and it was a hand-me-down. I was able to select like one game from his collection that he had already beaten. It was like Pokemon Sapphire or Emerald.
Nice.
I think it was Pokemon Emerald.
Yeah.
And that was that did me wonders for a good 2-3 years. I really fell in love with that game. Almost completed the whole Pokédex, but as many of you know, the Hoenn region is pretty intense.
Yeah.
Pretty intense, lots of waters. And the water was just not for me. I didn't really like going to the water and fishing for Pokemon.
Yeah, I was kind of the
But
same
yeah,
way.
that was a good one.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but that gen of Pokemon was the first gen that I had. I had actually never played. I don't know if I had ever played an RPG before that, so that was really cool. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Like those water areas were like intense. And I think like for the story, you had to like dive down and like find like a hidden submarine somewhere. Like it is such like a 2D, like it almost feels like a 2D world because you're like looking down on it and maneuvering through it to like add another layer and a dimension to it. Like that was just like a whole nother thing, and that took me forever to figure out.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you on that, and me too. We've all done some silly things with Pokemon games, I'm sure.
So I think that I'm pretty similar to you, and my first Nintendo console was a Game Boy. I feel like now that I'm saying this, I feel like we talked about this in our console episode. I think we might have mentioned this a little bit. Anyways, well, I guess I'll just say what I was gonna say. Anyways, my first game for my Game Boy was Pokemon Pinball. Did you ever play that?
No, I've never played it, but I saw my uncle had it. They liked that game.
Oh man, it was so fun. Me and my dad would just play it. And like I think like when you get it, like there's only like two pinball maps, and then like after you get like a certain score, I think you unlock a third one. I think me and my dad were just like playing on like Christmas Day. I think we like found a new map, and it was like so cool. I tried to pick this game up like later in life, and I was at like a used game shop, and it was like 40 something bucks. It was like only a couple years ago, so I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have sold it. But
yeah.
So, I mean, some games are harder to find as time goes by. But if you ever have the opportunity to play Pokemon Pinball, check it out.
That's a fun one, for sure.
Man, I think that we did talk quite a bit about Nintendo this last episode because I decided to buy a Switch.
Yeah, I was convincing you to purchase a Switch.
I have not pulled the trigger yet, unfortunately.
That's all right.
Still waiting on that old paycheck. I'm pretty excited. The more I've been thinking about it, the more I'm excited. There's a couple games that I have on my list, and I think that you've played both of them. So like I said last week, I think the new Pokemon like Sword and Shield, that's on my list. I'm also like really excited for Breath of the Wild. I've heard very little about it. You've beaten Breath of the Wild, haven't you?
No, I haven't beaten it, but I've played my fair share.
So how do you beat it? Is it like really long?
It is a fairly long game, yes.
Gotcha. So I've never beaten a Zelda game. I've played a couple. Actually, and by a couple, I really only mean one. I played Zelda's The Shadow Princess. Is that what the title was called from the Wii?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm gonna look that up really quick. But do you want to maybe talk about some of your Zelda experiences while I'm looking this up?
Yeah, I remember playing Zelda way back on the Nintendo 64. My uncle had a 64, and he had this Zelda game. I don't remember like exactly what the name of the title was, because I was very young, but I do remember being attracted to that title because it had like this, as you know, the Nintendo 64 titles came in this like, kind of semicircle
Mm-hmm.
contraption, and on it was this like, I don't know how to describe this material, but it was like reflective, and it like had Zelda on it, and you would like move it, and it was just really shiny. I was impressed by this, and I had to play it, and I would
Mm-hmm.
just like get on that 64 with like the remotes that were like so vintage. They had like the three
Mm-hmm.
thing. I love those remotes, and yeah, I would just get on that, and I had no clue what I was doing on Zelda and that Zelda, but I would just admire the world and whatnot. And now fast forward to 2019, 2020, I'm playing Breath of the Wild, and I still very similarly don't know what I'm doing. I can get past the part where I have to like go to these seven towers and activate them and stuff. It's just a lot of traveling required. And something that I really liked about Breath of the Wild was that if you're traveling through a cold area, you run out of, health, or you get hungrier faster,
Mm-hmm.
and you actually need to like stay by a fire. You actually need to worry about staying warm, or else you'll get hypothermia. That's very, it's
That's a
very
cool game dynamic.
right. It's interesting, and I think you're gonna like that dynamic about it. It's gonna make it really challenging.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited. I actually I'm remembering now after hearing you talk about that. I'm remembering my experience with the game is called Zelda Twilight Princess. That's what it's called.
Uh,
And I remember that like one Christmas my family had gotten that game for my sister Paige because I had like gone out and bought some own like Wii games for myself, and she didn't necessarily have very many. So they bought her Super Smash Bros. And Twilight Princess. And I
ooh,
think that I don't even think she was in middle school. So I was like, wow, like those are some like pretty, I mean, like not to say that like there's like an age like that you have to like be at to play games, but I definitely remember being like, whoa, like I don't even know if I could beat that, which I kind of took it upon myself to play in the second save file, this Twilight Princess game, so I could help my sister out if she ever got stuck.
yeah. What do you remember about Twilight Princess and like that whole game?
Yeah, I remember there were like a lot of dungeons, which I thought was kind of like a cool. It was kind of like not like a climbing puzzle. Like maybe I guess you could call it a climbing puzzle. Like it's like you have to like traverse the area in the game, and like you're in a dungeon, and it's like you also have like enemies that you have to combat.
Yeah, that sounds very similar.
I don't really remember much of the story, but oh man, you could like when the like shadow, I don't know if it was like it happened at night or whatever, but like whenever like you like entered the shadow realm or like the twilight realm, like Link turned into a wolf, and that was super cool because like you got to
Wow.
like trade versus like a dog kind of, and that was really cool. Man, I wish I could get back into that. But I'm glad that you bring up the 64 because I never had a 64. I actually have never played on a 64.
Really, I still have it. I still somehow still have the thing. It's very dusty, but I love to pull it out and then play it sometime. And that thing is gonna be, it's still gonna slap as it did.
So what are your favorite titles that you have personally?
Smash Bros was my like first introduction to that whole like series, and I would always lose to my uncle and like his friends and stuff. But I never I never backed down. I still got back up and kept trying to get in there. Mario Kart was one
Mm-hmm.
also that I really liked.
Man, I fucking love Mario
Um, and by far my favorite on the 64 had to be, is it Mario Sunshine? No, that's actually on the GameCube. Sorry.
Kart. Gotcha. Which I also never had a GameCube.
GameCube was it was something else. It had those really vintage remotes. Also played Super Smash Bros, but they had Super Smash Bros Brawl for the GameCube, which they had added like a bunch of characters, and that was exciting to see. Mario Kart on that as well. Mario Party, which is really fun.
Yeah,
They
Mario.
also incorporated like microphones and stuff, and like
Mhm.
it was a lot. It was really interesting.
It kind of looks like I'm kind of actually just looking through all of the consoles that the Nintendo's ever had, and like some of them I totally forgot about. Like they have some like really cool looking like DSs and like Game Boys. I guess they made like this one DS that like didn't flip over, and it was just like two screens, but it was like a handheld, but it like didn't flip
Yeah,
over.
2DS.
Is that, oh, that is the 2DS. Was that the
Yeah.
first one that they had?
Nah, I think they had DSs before. Like I remember having many different iterations of the DS.
Yeah, I think I currently have the DS Lite. I think that's what I have.
That's a good
Did
one. I've
you
had
ever have a 3DS?
Yeah, I still do have a 3DS. I have 3DS and a 3DS XL.
I hear that a lot of people like love the 3DS and that it still has an active store. Have you played it recently?
I haven't played it recently, but that makes sense. But it makes sense why people liked it. It was fun. I liked it a lot too. I played Pokemon on it. I remember they actually put the switches. They were testing out a lot of like this early Switch, kind of like home screen and store, and just testing out a lot of things that they put on the Switch ultimately on the 3DS, which was really interesting to see.
I've heard like a critique about the Switch is that you can't like customize like your background. And I guess that was something that you could do on the 3DS.
Big time. Yeah, that was something really cool about the 3DS. You customize your background. I miss the chat feature. There's like this really cool chat feature you could just get on a DS and chat with somebody else who has a DS and just
I
like send
remember
each
that.
other these really cool drawings and stuff.
Mhm.
It's a silly feature, but I miss it.
I actually have a funny story about those little chats. I remember, I don't even know what grade it would have been. I think it would have been sometime in middle school. At the end of middle school, like me and my whole grade, like we got to like take a trip to this place called Michigan Adventure, which is just like a Six Flags like theme park kind of thing. And on the bus, like everybody was like, there were a lot of people that had DSs, and like there was like a huge game chat, and people were like change like, 'cause I think you could change your name too. And people were like changing names and like throwing those like just saying stuff and like throwing like the photos up. But I think like at some point like something like super inappropriate got said, and like everybody that had a DS had to like serve like a detention because they couldn't figure out who it was.
Oh my god.
I think that I had thought about bringing mine and then like didn't bring it, and I think that this might have saved me from that detention. But I definitely had some friends in there, and I'm sure that one of them was responsible.
That's hilarious.
Uh,
Gotta love those chats, man. See, they were really fun.
yeah, I do have a big critique about the Nintendo DSs though. This might not have been as big a thing with the 3DS because I didn't have one, but I hated having to blow into the mic. Like whenever there would be like a game, like you had to like blow into the mic or like swipe really hard on like the touchpad or like
Yeah.
tap it. Or like spam the touchpad. I really hated those, and like there were a couple times where I was like in public, and I was just like, oh, I'm not gonna fucking blow into my DS
Yeah.
like in the middle of a public space. So that, because I feel like that's like probably like my favorite part about like the handhelds that you can just like throw in your pocket.
Right, right. And the game designers were getting just a little too spicy there
Yeah.
for your liking.
Did you ever leave a Game Boy in your pocket or anything like that and have it get washed?
Never, never. No, my uncle would have killed me. They were never my consoles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was always like borrowing them or like they were hand me downs and stuff, so I could never be that like irresponsible.
Yeah. I remember like specifically that happened to me. I had like left it in my pants. So like I lived on a lake, and this was in the summer. So I just like, for some reason I was like changing really quick, threw my shorts on the ground, and then threw on my swim trunks and jumped in the water. And unbeknownst to me, I think that like if I had picked up my pants, I think I would have remembered. But my mom had just like thrown them in the washer, and that ruined the Game Boy, but
And
did not ruin my game. So got the save progress was okay.
oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, after that, I had to do my own laundry.
Ever since?
Ever since, I don't mind it though.
How long ago was that?
Oh gosh, I remember it was probably. I mean, I think it was in middle school. for me. Maybe a little bit younger than middle school, but I remember that when my friends would come over, they'd be like, why do you do your own laundry? And I was like, yeah. So I think it was like younger than most, but like not young enough to like really make a difference. But
What do you mean? You think that's something that'll really make a difference in someone's life?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, like, if you were like very young, like you couldn't cook or anything. I mean, like, I don't even know when I learned to cook. Maybe you just learn these things. Maybe you just pick them up on your own. I don't.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was younger than my friends. No, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter.
And maybe you've always known how to cook. You just didn't know it.
That's probably true.
I like to think time all happens at once and we're just experiencing it, in our own ways. But everything's happened already.
Just one big timeline. Yeah, I think on our first episode we got a little existential about dimensions and time too.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, goodness. So, what have been do you have any like top memories while playing like Nintendo consoles or like anything like distinct?
Yeah, for sure. Just being really competitive. Just learning a lot about myself and like who I am as a person through these games. I learned how competitive I am and just how much I, don't like losing. And
yeah, but you get a lot of those fight games.
Yeah, for sure. And just paying attention to detail and like just how important it is to stay organized.
Who are your favorite players? Like your favorite characters in the Super Smash Bros.
I like Ness. I like Ness a lot because he had that little bat, and he had the PK fire, and like the electricity is really annoying. I like to loop it around him and make him like launch himself at you.
Oh wow! I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, it's really cool. You can like make yourself just bounce around the map with that. I love playing with that.
Yeah, I'll have to. If I got a Switch, we could play this together, right?
Yeah, we could definitely play online.
With this one, do you have to like unlock the characters as you go, or are they already all unlocked?
Yeah. You'd have to unlock them, just by fighting around and stuff, and you have to actually fight every character to earn them.
Yeah, I think I like that game mechanic. I think that's good. But I think that on one of the new Nintendo games, I think it must have maybe been the Mario Kart. I heard that pretty much everything's unlocked already.
Yeah, it is Mario Kart. It's
a
little harder with Mario Kart to do that.
Do you think that adds to it, or do you think that takes it away?
I mean, I feel like with Mario Kart they haven't done enough because there have been so many like fun Mario Kart iterations. Like, have you ever played Mario Kart Double Dash?
Oh, I loved that one. That one
was so much fun.
Sorry.
Really fun. It'd be nice to see that, brought back as a game mode, or maybe they're waiting to like relaunch that on the Switch. It'd be nice to like bring back some of the old game mechanics and stuff that people really loved about Mario Kart. Yeah, but I think it's because they're waiting, they're keeping it in their back pocket.
Yeah, definitely. Is there any old Nintendo game that you would like them to bring to the Switch that they haven't already? Because they've been doing a lot that they been bringing back and remastering, quote unquote, also kind of redoing them in a way.
They did, yeah. They remastered Mario Sunshine, which on the GameCube I really loved, and waiting to buy that. I'm just probably gonna wait till Christmas time and until the semester's over to really give it some attention, if I still even want it then. Another game that I wish they would remake is this Dragon Ball game. I forget what it's called. It's like Dragon Ball Tenkaichi Budokai, some weird name, but it was on the GameCube or on the DS. It was like one of those cartridge games, and it was so much fun. It was like this little 2D game, but it consisted of all the Dragon Ball Z characters and stuff you could fight and collect. It was just really a fun game, and I hope that they bring that back to the Switch.
Yeah. Okay. So would that be kind of similar to Mortal Kombat at all, but just Dragon Ball Z kind of, or less graphic maybe?
It's kind of similar to Pokemon in a way, where it's really cartoony, but still action. You still have like this intense story that's fun to follow. Yeah, you just really get into it overall. And I know I did because I was really into Dragon Ball Z. I still am. I love
Mhm.
reading the manga. I love watching the anime, and yeah, I want to see them remake that.
Okay, now this is going a little away from video games, but I want to ask some Dragon Ball Z questions. I have never like met somebody that I'm close with that's into Dragon Ball Z, so that's awesome that you are. Like there are like a couple series, right? And they like do they like kind of like work in different like timelines as like the
Yeah,
age of the character? Is that kind of how it works?
yeah. So there's Dragon Ball, which is the
Mm-hmm.
first, the OG, and that's about Goku, Son Goku, who comes from planet Vegeta, a planet that's home to a race of warriors known as the Saiyans. And there's this alien dude called Frieza who comes to this planet and enslaves these people. He makes them, go to other planets and do shit for him. Basically they're like his warriors. And he built the army. And before he destroyed the planet, Frieza one day got tired, and with one finger he created a ball, and then he sent it to the planet to destroy it. And uh, Goku, Son Goku, was sent to planet Earth. His dad put him in a capsule, and he sent him away because he had a bad feeling about the whole thing. And then that started Dragon Ball, where there's this alien boy here on planet Earth, and he's just like surviving, and it's just a really nice story. You fall in love with the character. And then you have Dragon Ball Z, which is Goku as a man. He's grown up. He meets Bulma. He has a wife. He has a kid, Gohan, and he's training his son. He's teaching him how to be a warrior. He's teaching him how to be a man. Yeah, so Dragon Ball Z goes on, and then you have Dragon Ball Super,
So
which is,
how I'm gonna interject you real quick. So how does Goku learn how to like because if he was sent to Earth, how does he like learn how or is that kind of like the whole story of like him discovering himself? Kind of.
yeah, that's the whole story. It's just him discovering himself, learning how to socialize, interact with humanity,
Oh,
learning
so
how
does
to,
he already like know how to be like a warrior, I guess? Like does he already know
yeah, he has a tail coming out of his ass. He's like a He looks like a human. The only thing is he has a tail coming out of his ass. And on a full moon, he becomes a giant ape. And it's you gotta watch it, man. I used to love that show so much. There's like some of the earliest videos of me. I was like 4 years old. I'm just sitting on the toilet singing that like theme song, the Dragon Ball Z theme song. And I actually had to go back to Dragon Ball because I missed it. I was born in 2000. So I, was introduced to Dragon Ball Z, and I had to go back and like, watch it myself.
Yeah, I'll
And
have
yeah, so
to go back to. So would you recommend starting from like the Dragon Ball or would you like recommend doing like starting at different points or like kind of like the series chromatically?
for you, I would say start at Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Start at Dragon Ball, go to Z, go to Super. There are others. There's a GT, which was written by some guy at the studio who was like salty or something, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna start my own thing, and some shit like that. And then yeah, he wrote GT, and everyone in the community kind of like discards GT, but it's a fun watch if you really want to get into it. It's a fun watch.
I'll have to check it out. I'll probably cruise online and maybe get a virus just trying to find it.
Yeah,
Is it on
I
any
would
streaming
suggest that.
platforms? Do you know?
Dragon Ball
Well, it's
Funimation. It's on Funimation. It's on Crunchyroll. Major anime platforms. Verve. Have you ever gotten into anime before?
I have a little bit. I actually, funny enough, I had never seen an anime series until COVID happened, and I was like, I've always wanted to get into this. I've always wanted to try it. I'm just gonna pick one and just start going with it. And the one that I ended up picking was Voltron, the new one,
Okay.
and I loved it. I definitely cried at the end, and that was kind
Uh,
of like not that I like hadn't really thought that I mean, like, obviously, like, it's a piece of media or like a type of media that like millions of people, probably billions, enjoy and love. But I had never gone into it. So, like, I mean, obviously, I hadn't experienced it. But it was kind of one of
Yeah.
those that I was like watching. And I was like, okay, this is badass. And um, there was like I had like one gripe to it. There's like one character. His name is Lance. And if you watch it, he like his like I was just like fuck this dude. Like this dude's a little whiny kid. That's like the only thing that I was like I don't like that character, but I'm like whatever. I'm gonna keep going. And he like obviously like that's kind of how they do it. He like through the course of the series, he like becomes one of your favorites, and you have like a huge personal connection to him. It's hilarious. And then after that, I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Ooh, that's a great one.
and obviously love that one too. I think that one's a classic, one that like I would say more people. Well, maybe not. I would say that that's a pretty popular one.
Yeah, definitely. But it's also an American-based one. Both of those are kind of American-based.
Yeah,
I would
that's
say that.
something that I noticed as well. I was like, both of these are made by, which maybe that's a good introduction for me. Is
Yeah,
it
for sure.
Dragon Ball not? Or is it?
It's written by Japanese men, most Japanese writers
Mhm.
mostly, and so it's an interesting. That's something that I really appreciated, especially growing up, having those like Japanese writers have an influence on my like conscious and the way that I appreciated art. It really switched things up in here, and I appreciated it so much. I like, for example, watching Naruto, which you've probably heard of
I've
before.
heard of that. Yeah, I don't really know what it looks like.
Yeah, Naruto, taught me a lot of things, and like, never giving up, and just a lot of themes and morals and stuff in those animes that, had I not watched them, I probably would not be here, having this conversation with you right now.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I really appreciate anime. And I would recommend you watch Naruto and Dragon Ball Z and Hunter x Hunter if you haven't. Viewers, definitely check out all those animes if you can. Check out Death Note. Check out, what else do I like? I like
that looks cool.
My Hero Academia. Really good
I've
anime.
heard of that
So
one.
many like so many good stuff out there, man. So much good stuff. My no, my girlfriend right now. I'm just gonna call it girlfriend right now. We're we're both really into anime, which is a blessing. We started watching this new one called God of High School, which is an
Oh,
interesting one
that
to
sounds
say the
cool.
least.
Have you ever? I guess are they called graphic novels? I think they're like Japanese, or maybe I don't really know which.
Mangas,
Maybe where it's like you read them like back to front.
yeah, they actually read right to left. You read them like backwards. Yeah, I've had it. I have a few mangas. I like reading mangas. They actually, for the huge anime fans who just can't wait to see the story animated, can go and read the manga and see what happens in the story ahead of
Oh,
time. That's something that my uncle does a lot, and I don't like it because I can wait. I can wait for the story to get animated, but
mhm.
he just can't, and he'll tell me things, and he'll be like, so and so, and I'll just be like, dude, like, I don't want to know. Please keep it to yourself. But it's hard because it's such a good story, and you want to share it.
Doesn't respect the spoilers.
Yeah, he's always been like that.
I think everybody has a
Yeah,
friend like that in their life. Yeah, I'm really excited to kind of get into this more. I think that I kind of like subconsciously knew that the ones that I was picking up were written like by Americans. So I'll have to. I think that I actually just from looking at like the art, I feel like Naruto.
yeah.
Naruto. I think that one, like I've seen more of this person.
Naruto.
Who's the main character?
Naruto
What's his
Uzumaki,
name?
and he's basically
Oh,
like, the plot
Naruto.
of that is he's just some boy who his father was a leader in his village, and his mother, was giving birth to him, and this villain comes and tries to. Well, actually, before we say that, his father implants this beast that he's fighting. He's fought to save the village, and he somehow managed to encapsulate him, and he has to put him somewhere. So he puts him into his son, which is, super unsafe. But yeah, he puts him into his son's belly, and he has this nine-tailed beast within him. And he has like this untapped reservoir of energy. And everyone in the village hates him for it because that same beast destroyed the village and like killed, many people, and he has it living inside of him. So he's like an outcast. He has to grow up with no parents in this village that hates him. It's one hell of a story.
Yeah, it looks like that one's on Netflix, so I think I
That one is
check that
that
one
show
out.
made me cry so many times, and it's just like a great show. If you've never watched it, definitely pick that up.
Yeah, this definitely looks like a media that I mean, like I have like actively been trying to get into. So getting some fresh recommendations from you is definitely helps me personally. It makes me feel it's always one of those things where it's like if you're trying something new, it's awesome that like when people are trying to like help you get into it kind of thing, instead of like trying to like make it seem like more exclusive. But yeah, it's always awesome when like somebody like that's a part of something is like willing to help you out and kind of like eager to like to I don't know, like
Share.
you know what I mean, like try and like like share and help you get into something instead of like trying to like make it more exclusive. Because sometimes it can be hard to get into into something. And I think that's maybe I'm speaking for myself here, but something that we're trying to do here, like we're trying to like make gaming like less exclusive and more inclusive, and I think that's awesome that just being able to share something that you love, like that's awesome, and I'm super excited to check it out. But I think that's kind of the culture that we're maybe trying to create here, to be I guess be more inclusive. And I think that's an awesome message. I think that it's something that we can totally do going forward. So
I appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, that's definitely the goal here. Making this community more inclusive and just bringing like-minded people together.
Yeah, because there definitely is like a small side of it that there's some toxic people in this in gaming, and I was not even gonna bring up that energy. This is all about like being inclusive, and I don't know if like me personally, I've been trying to check some new stuff out that other people have like recommended to me, which is an awesome segment that we could bring up because we haven't talked about what we've been playing recently. So I'll kind of jump into that, and then I'll let you share your thoughts on what you're playing. So I checked out this new game. It wasn't recommended to me, but there was a podcast that I listened to that I heard about this on, and it's called Spellbreak. So it's a free-to-play battle royale game, and you can like get it on. I think you can get it Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation. And it's still like a game preview right now. So it's like still kind of in testing. And like the game has like crashed on me a couple times, but basically it's like a battle royale, but instead of being a first person shooter, it's in third person, and you use magic to fight with instead of like weapons, which is super cool.
That sounds really fun.
And I've been loving it. We should totally play.
You think I should download Spellbreak?
100%. I had to download it, and I played it for the first time yesterday, and it was, I'm just gonna say it was fucking baller holic. I had a great time with it.
Bet I'll definitely pick that up.
And it's kind of one of those things where it's like shorter games. Like I won, so like there are not a ton of people playing this at the moment. Like I didn't see any like names that I recognize like game to game, but like I also think like there's a smaller lobby of people that are like playing. Like it's not, I don't think it's like 100 people. It's really fun. So basically you get like a gauntlet is what it's called. And you can get a gauntlet on each hand, and you like start with a gauntlet. And like the one that you start, like you can't remove, but like you can swap out the other one like as you play. And the one that you start with, like for some elements, gives you like special abilities. So like there's like a water, like a freeze gauntlet. And if you have that as like, so back up, the gauntlet gives you the ability to do a right trigger and a like double. So like if you have like the right gauntlet, so like you can double wheel, like so you could like shoot a fireball and like an ice pick or like a like shoot electricity and then like shoot some wind. And it's really cool because you have like this little like mana bar is what it's called, and it's like basically this meter that allows you to shoot and fire, but it also like allows you to levitate. So it's pretty cool. So the right and left triggers give you like the ability to shoot like a smaller attack, and then the bumpers, and those use the mana, and then the bumpers are on like a timer. So like if I used like a right bumper, it would take like 10 seconds to recharge, and then I can use it again. It's very interesting, and like it's also like they added this new kind of game dynamic to where instead of having like a bus and you can like drop in on a map, there's all these like spawn points, and you pick one, and then you can drop down. So like if your team picks it, another team can also pick it. It's kind of like I don't necessarily know why they did that per se, but I like it. And like one of the things that like a critique that I have about battle royales is like sometimes I feel like it's really easy to get like caught in an open area, get like blocked, and they don't really have that with this game because they did like such a good job with like designing environments, and like they're like deep and like tall, and then like there's also like so much cover. So like if you get into like it's really hard to get caught in the open. Like I have not been killed out in the open, but I have me and my team did through like one of the very small open areas that exist. But
that's hilarious.
But so it's a squad of 3, and there's also we definitely need to play this because they also have this other element that's really cool. So like the battles take a long time because getting hit by like an element, it doesn't do a ton of damage to you, so you can really take some heat, and like some of them do like some of the gauntlets give you like they do more damage, but like a sniper, like do more damage, but like they're slower to shoot kind of thing. And I think it's like spaced out really well to where like it's really hard to find like health and shield. If like for example like there were a lot of times where I was like jumping into a fight and I had like half health. And I like made it out okay, just because you can also like either choose to like attack or levitate with your.
Or just get away. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, but like you can like get away, just like shoot a fireball or something and like skirt. They also have like an ability. It's like a special ability. It's also on like a timer, and you can like some of them like one allows you to fly, one allows you to teleport, one allows you to like go invisible. Like it's definitely super cool. Like if you like it's a free to play, so like you will definitely get more than your free space on your device for it.
Are you gonna play Spellbreak after this?
Probably not. I mean, I kind of want to.
Like you are, because it sounds like a great game. I know I'm gonna go install it after this.
Dude, you should, man. Yeah, I mean, as an adult, my bedtime is slowly creeping up on me.
That's ironic.
What'd you say?
I said that's ironic. As an adult, my bedtime is creeping up on me.
Yeah, I know that it's kind of one of those things that I realize that if I stay up too late, it affects my productivity. Yeah. So, gotta be responsible, unfortunately. But dude, you should definitely check it out. I actually I tried to play it on my lunch break today, but I couldn't. My Xbox was being slow, which just another reason why I'm waiting to really excited to get into this next gen. It was loading for like 10 minutes, and I was like, I don't think this is. I was like, at first I was like, I think this is like because it's a game preview, and then I backed out of it and tried to load Call of Duty. And
so it's an Xbone. It's an Xbox One game.
It's an Xbox. Well, I think it's on all. I think you could get it on your Switch.
Really?
Spellbreak. I mean, you might have to look that up, but I think it's on all 3. I think it's
I'd
on
love
all
to get
3
it on
consoles.
my Xbox though, and get back on that.
Fuck the loading screens for these newer games. The hardware is just
not there.
It's not really.
It struggles because the performance dwindles over time, and then these games come out and they test the performance, and they're really designed to like play on fresh systems.
Yeah, so like if I had I don't even have like one of the newer Xbox. Like I think this is like the original one that came out at Xbox launch. I think that's what
Probably sounds like a mule.
it is. It definitely sounds like a mule when the fan turns on.
I can imagine. I have the OG as well from release date, and I also have the same issues with it, but it still works like a charm.
Yeah,
Still play Minecraft.
I think I might have missed out on getting. I wish that I kind of wish I would have got Minecraft on my Xbox, but I got it on my laptop instead. I think that might have been a mistake, but at the same time, like I don't really have any games on my Xbox or on my computer, so it's fun to play whenever I do jump on it. But
Yeah.
So what have you been playing this week, man?
I've been playing a lot of Clash Royale. That's an app on my phone. That's a pretty fun game, just getting on there, beating everybody. I don't lose anymore. Max level.
Yeah. What's the difference between Clash
playing
Royale
that.
and Battle Royale?
Clash
No, I'm thinking
Royale
of something
is
else.
Clash of Clans.
I'm thinking of Clash of Clans. That's what I'm thinking of. What's the difference between that and Clash of Clans? Clash Royale.
So it takes all those Clash of Clans characters and basically it's like a card game where you get to choose cards. You get like a hand and you kind of like play them on this arena and you like compete with each other and you got to destroy each other's towers.
That's cool.
And it's like 2-minute matches.
That's cool. So is it like actually like
And
a kind of card game kind of game?
Yeah, I got into it release date and I've been playing ever since, and that's why now I don't lose. It's I should definitely get into like development and testing into that game. Shout Supercell if you're watching this. I'd love to get in there, get my hands dirty, test some stuff out for you guys.
Yeah, I wonder how that works. I've kind of over this past year I've kind of been getting more into like trying to like little by little kind of like how does like the game development process work and like this like with Spellbreak, like it's a game preview and it's not like a full game yet. I bought a demo a little bit ago, but my computer does not have the hardware for that, so it's kind of just a waste of some money. But I was like, like it looked like a really cool game, so glad that the developers got my cash. Yeah, is it kind of one of those? Really had a ton of time to play any like console games, or just kind of found yourself?
Just
the mobile games.
Being away from so I was in Pennsylvania. I wasn't really able to play console games.
That's true.
But before I left, I did play some 2K. As per usual.
Yeah.
I have been getting on GTA recently. On GTA, I've been doing this really weird thing recently where I'll just get on and I'll get in my car and just go on a string of liquor store robberies and then just collect my cash, make like a quick 10,000, 20,000, put it in my bank and just get off. And I don't know why I've been doing this, but it's just been really, it's just a way to like really just get on there and just get like your dopamine flowing.
Yeah, do whatever you want. That's so funny. Man, I would really like to get into one of those. That game type, is that called a sandbox? Is that kind of what that game is like classified as?
Clash of Clans?
No. Grand Theft Auto.
GTA?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, it is kind of like a sandbox, like open kind of world, kind of like Red Dead Redemption. Have you ever played that one?
I haven't played that one, but I watched many hours of my old roommate playing that one. So shout out to Kyle.
Shouts out to Kyle, man. Red Dead Redemption is a fun game. Anybody who plays Red Dead has good taste in video games.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about the spoilers from Kyle, because I kind of like was at a point when that came out and he was playing it that I was like, dude, I have like such a back catalog, like I don't think I'm ever gonna play it, like tell me all about it. And I'm glad he did, and I think it's got a really unique kind of storyline. I would totally like I don't know, like not that I don't like watching other people play, but like whenever I see other people play, I'm always like, oh, I want to fucking play this. But like with that, I was always just like mesmerized by the world. I was like, dude, I'm just gonna keep watching you do this mission, or like I remember this one time he was playing and like he was just like, so I'm gonna go talk to this guy, and this guy was like, "Oh, you think you're a sharpshooter, huh?" And just like, "You want to bet me that I can outshoot you?" And it's kind of one of those things where it's like you like give him like $10, and then like he like shot some birds, and then you shot some birds, and whoever had the most birds got the cash. And it's like, "Oh man, you beat me this time. You want to do double or nothing?" And I remember watching. I was like, "Dude, like don't do it. He's baiting you. He's gonna be so much better." And sure enough, he did like double or nothing, and he was like doubled his score. But then Kyle ended up beating him, so he got the money, man. He's a pretty good shot.
Thank goodness.
But yeah, I don't know if I could play that game. I feel like not that I'm opposed to games that end kind of negatively, but I think that like you know, like there's no way that you can save your character at the end of that.
What do you mean? Like you can't like?
I like even though like they're like, I'm sure you can have like a like redemption arc to like some point, like the main guy's gonna die. Which,
Yeah, in the story, you mean?
yeah, so I think that like not to say that like that's not powerful, but like I just feel like, and like I don't know, I feel like
Futile.
not necessarily. I just feel like it like sometimes like I definitely, actually I would say most of the time I'd like to jump into to video games to like escape the world like a little bit, like not necessarily like
Yeah.
not in like an unhealthy way. Like I don't like put video games like above my life, but like I definitely like use like a stress reliever and like my media that I enjoy the most. But I feel like I
Yeah.
couldn't really like because like I like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Because
I know
like
exactly what you're trying to say. That's too realistic.
not, I mean, not that it's not like too realistic, but like there's like ways like that, like if you're like grinding and you like, because like and there's like a big like resource scarcity, like you have like cash scarcity, and like I hear the like you can like go in there and then be like, or like somebody be like, "Hey man, like do you want to come help me with this really quick?" And like most of the time like that like would give you like a side mission, but like in like this instance like they could just like mug you and take all your money. And I feel like
Yeah.
shit like that would just drive me up the wall. Like
Yeah,
I don't think I
I know
could.
what you mean.
Like, cause I don't know. I don't feel like I don't like it when, not that I don't like challenges, but I'm like, if I like genuinely am like spending time in my life trying to like to do something, like I don't like the developers just be like, "Oh, like fuck that, like fuck you, that's just like a waste of time." Kind of like
Fuck
I
you,
don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like, especially on GTA Online, like it definitely feels like that sometimes. You have like a lot of cash, and then somebody will just come and like drive with the plane, just drop a bomb on you, and just die, and they take you lose cash, and like you just lose a lot of progress and stuff. And yeah, but I don't know. I've always been the type of person who like I've loved that challenge of being able to like start new and still be just as good, or like it didn't matter to me what happened. Like I knew I still had it like up here, so
Yeah,
I like that aspect of it.
yeah, I can see where people would like that, and I think that maybe like if I had like been given like some more freedoms in my childhood, I feel like maybe I would enjoy that more. Like my parents like
Yeah,
definitely like they would give me 2 hours of screen time. They like actually like put it on a timer. So like if I wanted to like watch like a TV show or like look at my phone or like play some video games, like it was only like always on the timer.
yeah,
So I guess like in that way, I almost felt like the time was just so precious. I think that like that's
that's a
kind of
good way of putting
translated to my life too. Like I always feel like I'm like, oh, like I really want to play some video games, but like oh, I should really like do the dishes first, or like let me try and like get a little further on like whatever like side thing I'm doing at the time. So
it.
I that's like something that I'm like trying to like be like, Blake, it's okay, you can enjoy yourself, like have some fun.
Yeah, it's like finding that balance is not always like the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. I know that we're kind of getting close to time here, but I had, while we're on the topic, I've heard about some studies that say that if you that you should kind of like target like your video game playing to be like under 10 hours a week. And if you're playing more than 10 hours a week of video games, like you're probably putting off things in like your real life, and you should probably like reevaluate. So I think that's kind of the metric that I kind of like try to go by. Yeah, I mean, I personally, I couldn't even well, I mean, like it's COVID, so like I probably had played like 10 hours of video game a week like a couple weeks ago. Like I'm sure that happened.
Yeah.
I feel like I've definitely like, even like with everything that's going on, I feel like I'm still trying to find time to relax and enjoy some stuff. But yeah.
That's funny. That's funny how you had that. Like we're both kind of like very different in that aspect. How you were just like very limited in terms of video games, and I was very free to like just fucking go crazy, play GTA at like 14 or whenever the fuck I felt like, and like I feel like now I'm at a point where I'm kind of like sick of video games and just like it's hard for me to stay engaged and like really put effort into a game. And so when I do find that, I really cherish it.
Yeah, I can definitely appreciate that. I kind of feel the same way right now a little bit. It kind of feels like a lot of the AAA titles and stuff that I've been playing have kind of just haven't really been cutting it for me. I've kind of been finding it hard to stay engaged, and I've kind of just waiting for the next thing. And I think maybe in some ways that's kind of why I started this. Maybe to like celebrate all the fun I've had, but also like an opportunity to try some new stuff, or to give myself an excuse to try some new stuff, Like without this podcast, I wouldn't have tried Spellbreak. And that was super fun. So maybe that's, kind of part of it too. I think that we're still trying to figure out kind of what our podcast is, but maybe that's something that we try to do, maybe highlight some games that we wouldn't, or maybe try more games that we wouldn't otherwise have tried. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. Because I mean, otherwise we would just become cogs in this, society that values production over anything else. We just be focusing on maximizing profit as opposed to like just enjoying ourselves as humans.
Yeah, definitely. And video games, like I'm gonna say it, I don't really think it's an argument anymore, but like I think video games are art, and like it's important to save that.
I agree.
And I think that in a lot of the games recently, it just hasn't really felt like art for me. Haven't walked away. Like for example, like I guess like the latest COD that I shouldn't be surprised that I didn't get like anything out of that besides like just like mindlessly kind of, but like sometimes like it's fun to have like a mindless thing, but like some other games that I kind of played recently, like I really love the Tomb Raider series. I think I might have mentioned that before, but I've been kind of playing that, and it's kind of like I've put like 22 hours in, and I think I'm like halfway. Like my progress meter says I'm about halfway through, and it's
awesome.
And I like there are definitely parts that I like really really like about it, but then it's like kind of like, oh, like I'm just gonna go talk to this guy and do another side mission really quick.
But it gets old really quickly.
Yeah, I did kind of say that, but I actually have like this really cool experience, like a couple like, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like I stumbled across this side mission that like I got a ton out of, like I got a lot out of, but like there's also been like a couple recently where it's like, oh, like go kill this animal, and I'm like, I don't really want to, like, yeah, I get like your society needs me to like go kill this wolf, but like I don't really want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna try and like create this like environment as quickly as I can here, because there's like I can talk about this game forever. But so basically, there's like a cult in this city, and like they're the opposing governing faction, and like there's like the rightful like leaders of the city.
Yeah.
Like the royalty, quote unquote, like she's like the queen, and you're like working with her and the resistance that are opposing the cult. And the cult happens to be Trinity. If you're like, there's a whole backstory to that if you're familiar with the franchise at all. And basically like, are like, hey, we need you to do this mission, but you have to like wear the cultist uniform to complete it. Like you're going to infiltrate them and do this mission. And like, I was kind of like just like walking around the city in this like uniform, because I was like, oh shit, like I'm one of these guys. Like, you know what I mean? And like people would kind of like look at me and like sneer at me, like as like in the cultist uniform, and I was like, this is cool. Like I'm into this. And then like I'd go up to like other cultists, and they'd be like, they would call you like there was like it was basically priest. They would call you like priest, but it was in a different language, and I thought that was really cool.
That sounds
And
interesting.
I actually like probably my favorite part of the game was me like doing like there were 2 side missions that I like found. Which I mean, like I think you're supposed to find them. It was cool that I found them first before like I moved on with the story. Like it like totally like just like the way that like NPCs like behavior changed once you were in the new uniform like made me want to explore. And in that I was able to find some other cultists. And they were like they were kind of telling me like they were about to kill this man, and I was like, why are you about to kill this man? Like what's going on? And they're like, his master was murdered, and the master's wife is saying it was him. And then the person that's like about to get his like throat cut, he's like, please, like I'm begging you, like I didn't kill my master, like I promise. Actually, I don't think they called it master. I think he was a servant. I get like there was the implication that he was paid. That's I mean, not that it's like that big of a distinction.
Yeah.
They were like, please, like I'm begging you, like I didn't kill him, like please, like prove my innocence, like I don't want to go out this way, like I loved him like a father. And basically like I like as the character, like you can choose to help him or not, and I like chose to help him. And then I like interviewed him, and I'm like, what happened, like tell me everything that you saw. And he like told me everything that he saw. He's like, basically like I went out to go get something, and I came back and he was dead. And then the wife is like, lies, like, because she's like also like listening in on this, like, lies, like that's not true. And then like you go question her, and then you find out that there's another servant, and you like go talk to her, and she's like cleaning up the blood, and like it's like kind of disturbing. But basically like there's like kind of cues that you can like think about, and like you also like interview some other people that like were around, and you find out that he like basically couldn't have been there because somebody else had seen him at a different location. So you're like, oh shit, like maybe he is innocent. And then basically like through this you end up like finding like this like little mound of dirt that you can like barely see, and like you like kind of dig it up, and it's like the murder weapon. And it was like, and you're like, you kind of confront the other servant, and you're like, did you hide this? And she's like, yes, I hid it, but I didn't kill him. And they're like, well, like you just committed to like kind of like hiding this, like what's up? And basically she like kind of says like it was the wife, and like so you end up saving this like innocent man from getting murdered, like being like as you're infiltrating like this terrible organization, and you're able to like do some justice.
Wow.
And that really kind of caught me. That caught me off guard because I had kind of personally been a little underwhelmed with the game this far. And it's kind of one of those things like I don't know if it would have been there after I like continued on. Like if I like went right to the main mission, you know what I mean? I don't know I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If it would have still been there for me to play, but that
Hopefully.
like it's like moments like that are really cool. But it's also kind of like how many like that's been like that took me like 20 minutes and I played it for 20 hours, you know?
Yeah, that's only like a small moment of the game.
Right. So I mean, like, not that I like expect every game to, like be amazing.
You can't.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I guess like it should be said that I did get something really cool out of that one, and like even for that like side mission on its own, like I would totally recommend the game. I mean, I haven't finished it yet, so yeah, definitely not the first person to play it. But have you had anything like that recently? Like, or any games that you've been underwhelmed or that beat your expectations?
I have to think. I have been feeling underwhelmed recently with a little bit with 2K, and
How's your season going?
it's going pretty good. I'm winning a lot, getting a few L's here and there. It just gets like repetitive over time.
Yeah.
Another game that I've been feeling kind of like underwhelmed with is Call of Duty. Just doesn't do the trick for me anymore. Just feels so like, I don't know, it's something about it. I'm looking forward to this new Call of Duty, Cold War for the zombies. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for the zombies. I mean, like, I don't want to say that I'm not going to get it, but, like, I kind of almost don't want to get it. You know what I mean? Just because, like, I, like,
Yeah.
the last Call of Duty, like, I really, I enjoyed it, like, because in the middle of COVID, like, the whole world, it felt like, was playing it. And I really enjoyed it, and I, like, got the Battle Pass. Like, I definitely, I've spent probably, like, $60 on the Battle Pass, too. So that's, like, 120 that I, like, gave the franchise. And it was like, oh, like, the new one's, like, coming out. You know, so it kind of just feels, like, short-lived to me. Not, like, I mean, like, the game was out before COVID. Right? It just kind of feels like, to me, like, I'm like, well, like, another one's getting kind of shoved down my throat a little bit.
Yeah, and you've kind of like fell victim to like this business model, and it's just
I wouldn't say that I fell victim because I deliberately was like, I'm gonna buy this and I have like the funds to buy it. But like in the past, like I've very much been like, I think that I have in the past been pretty good with my money in relationship to video games. Like I would always try and buy them like a year or two after they came out, try and buy them used, just because I knew that it's like, I mean, like it can be an expensive hobby, especially like if you're a student, you know, and not like working. Because like I definitely like would focus most of my time on school. So like, but like I definitely was like, I made the conscious choice. I was like, I have the money, like I can purchase these battle passes, and I think I've got like a tracer pack too, which that was cool. Like the first gun that I golded, I got like a pink tracer pack too, and it had like a pretty cool like anime skin with it. But
it's
then
nice.
it's kind of like for me, I'm like, and I haven't bought like the last couple Call of Duties, but I was like, I guess like, are they starting to expect that out of me? Like if I spend 60 on this next game, am I like not? Am I gonna like get in it and be like, oh man, like I'm not gonna have as full of an experience unless I spend like another like however much on like whatever the
The
microtransaction.
battle pass.
Yeah, like a battle
Yeah.
pass or you know what I mean? Like
No, yeah, that's definitely what they're on. That's the type of business model that
yeah,
they're getting to. And it's funny that you mentioned that. I recently watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, and it's all about just how like addicting social media platforms can be and technology in
yeah,
and of itself, and how there's just not really any measures in place to work on doing the opposite of that, making it less addicting, making it more humane for us. And I think it's a good topic. Something we
yeah.
can talk about in future podcasts.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we definitely should. I mean, we're getting a little long on that. I think this is probably the longest one that we've recorded so far. Yeah, like just real quick on that, like those social media, like Instagram in particular, like they're designed to be addictive, you know, like they've done like they did studies on like the red hearts, like and like how like that compares to like different like social media. Like you're supposed to get something out of seeing that and it's supposed to reinforce that in your mind and they are like totally addictive. And then I think we mentioned it earlier on a couple others, if you buy anything on that platform, like if you follow, like if you buy something from an Instagram ad, Facebook gets 30 cents for every dollar that you spend on it. So it's kind of, I mean, there's like humongous conflicting incentives and it sucks that it's so addicting. I actually recently I kind of noticed I was like, man, I'm spending more time on social media than I have before because of COVID, and I deleted Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat from my phone because I was kind of like,
Me
what
too. I
am
did the same thing. I hid it from myself.
yeah, because I was like, what am I looking to get out of this? And like after I had done it for like a couple days, I was like, like I'm fine without it. Like I'm totally fine without it. Like I recently re-downloaded the Instagram because I wanted to post something. I re-downloaded Snapchat because my girlfriend had sent me something, and I promptly deleted both of them. I have Instagram on my phone, but like I'm probably actually gonna delete it now because I spent way too much time on it today. In the in
You're
between,
giving in, man.
no, dude. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty healthy with it, but even
Oh yeah.
still, like it's kind of like a waste. Like I don't really get anything out of it. Like I'm
Right.
not learning, not really feeling. I'm kind of just actively scrolling.
It's just yeah, it's addicting. That's what it is. They got you hooked.
They got me hooked. So what would you like to see out of a video game in the future? Whether you're kind of feeling a little bit underwhelmed. Is there anything in particular that you're just like, man, that would really make me want to jump back on the saddle?
With virtual reality and with artificial intelligence, I think, the capabilities are exciting to say the least. I, I definitely feel like I'd like to get an RPG that's, VR based, something of the sort, something that's like a Skyrim of sorts, but like online and like VR. And I feel like the technology is trending towards something like that. We're getting there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's exciting stuff. That's something that I think will get me back into the world of gaming once that like really becomes affordable and becomes like, the barrier of entry has like lowered a lot, and there are a lot of designers working on these games and making them fun. But I think that's definitely down the road.
Have you played any games on like Oculus Quest or anything like that?
No, I've never had the pleasure to. I've only like watched videos and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I've never played one either. I'm really excited for that as well. Like I kind of have this like thing in my head where like obviously like, oh man, what's that book called? I think it's called Ready Player One. Have you read that book at all?
No, I haven't. But that was a film. It was made
Yeah.
into a film, right?
Yeah, I would totally recommend reading that title or listening to the audiobook of Ready Player One or watching the movie. The movie, I enjoy the movie, but it doesn't really do it justice because there's so many like deep like video game references. There's also a lot of like 80s references. So I didn't like there were a couple of times where I like just didn't get the references. But if you're like big into like 80s culture or like you really like that one Netflix show,
Stranger
Stranger
Things.
Things. If you are into that, you would. I mean, if you're into that, you've probably already watched Ready Player One or read the book. But if you
Yeah.
haven't, definitely do. So basically, like in that society, in the fictional society of Ready Player One, everybody's kind of like locked in to like a virtual reality. It's like an augmented reality, and that's kind of the world that people spend most of their time in. Just because like economic resources are so scarce and the world is like filled with pollution, and it's very much there's like an enormous wealth gap. Unfortunately, our world is more like that now than what it was in the 80s. So kind of an interesting insight by the author on that one. But basically, that's like kind of like a quest for like economic control of the system. Kind of
Yeah.
like one of the two developers of this augmented reality system hid like a quest to gain control over it in the like augmented reality, and that's kind of like the basis of the whole story.
Wow.
But kind of getting back to what we were like just talking about, the Oculus Quest, that's probably the biggest system, and it's $299, so it is the same price as a Switch. One thing that I'm going to say about it is like I think you were kind of alluding to this. There aren't a ton of developers working on games for these, so there aren't like huge games for them. Actually, I did hear, and I'm actually 100% sure you can do this if you got the PlayStation's VR, like the one specifically for the PlayStation. You can play Skyrim on those.
On the Oculus.
No, I don't think I think it's like the PlayStation one. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. I've seen that
Maybe it is.
around
Maybe it
somewhere.
is No, I don't think it's the Oculus.
It has to be the PlayStation one. Because I remember, yeah, hearing about that, like VR Skyrim.
Oh man, it is $289 for the PlayStation VR headset, which sucks. It sucks that these things are so expensive. Because like you can get the Oculus Quest, which is like its own system for $299, and this is just adds to the PlayStation one. But I think you can like watch movies in this space as well. But yeah, there's a huge barrier to entry to it, unfortunately, and I hear that a lot of people like it. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. There's really not a like for that genre. There's really not a ton of games. But if you
Yeah, it's
are,
definitely evolving.
yeah, if you're interested in looking up some like gameplay, if you've never seen any, I personally have seen gameplay of like I think it's called Vader Immortal. It's like a Star Wars VR. game, and like the gameplay of that is pretty easy to find online. 'Cause I think they won awards with either one of the last 2 or 3 games that they had made. I don't really know how many there are.
Sounds interesting. Vader Immortal.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of lightsaber kind of combat. You do like quick missions and stuff. It's very cool. Maybe if one of us ever gets a VR, we could probably talk about it. Yeah. So on this kind of like VR news, so that's like virtual reality, but then like augmented reality would be something like a pair of glasses that you have that would have like a screen in it that would like feed you stuff. And I think that
Yeah.
Amazon or Apple or Facebook, one of those 3, they announced something this week or this past couple of weeks about making plans to have those by like 2021 or 2022.
Wow.
Let's see if I can find anything really quick. All right, I think it was
man.
Apple. September 3rd, Apple glasses release date, price, features, and links. Oh, this is kind of cool. They kind of look kind of like you should look this up really quick. The frames are kind of look like how the Apple Watches, like the edges of that, like how they're kind of like the metal frame or like the metal outside, and then it's like that black glass like right on the inside.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like
Let me
that.
see. What is it called?
They're called Apple. I would type in Apple augmented reality glasses. But yeah, so it's kind of like one of those things where it looks like text screens, but like you can like see through it all. So that's very interesting.
That seems really cool. I'd love to, watch some videos and stuff on it.
But like for me personally, like that does like kind of like what they're saying, like the intended uses doesn't really doesn't really affect me. Like I think like one thing that that's probably going to happen if this is something that it looks like it's going to have like how many yards away something is, like
That's pretty
in the
nice.
background, like that would be kind of cool, something like that. It kind of looks like they're the way they charge them is kind of like a Apple Watch 2 where you kind of set it on one of those docks.
Yeah.
Like kind of like what I think would be useful is like if you were like had one of these like augmented reality glasses, I think it'd be cool to have like maybe like the temperature or like maybe like weather updates in like one side of the screen, maybe like the time in like the top or something. I don't really know if I would like to see my text or emails as they're coming in, because I personally try to actively avoid those notifications.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I love do not disturb mode. I'm sure as a student you like that too. If you're about to jump in a test or like a study session, just throw it in do not
Oh
disturb.
yeah, big time. Big time.
I think that you can. I think one of the things that they say about like studying is if like your phone vibrates, it takes you like 2 or 3 minutes like for your focus to return to what it was,
Wow.
which is
Damn, that's scary.
yeah. So after I heard that, I was like, oh no, like do not disturb mode all the time. Definitely needed to stay focused for my studies. Well, yeah, if you can't tell, we're getting tired out here. It is late. Late for us old gents.
And if you celebrated Yom Kippur today,
Yeah, you probably are done fasting because it's late. Happy Jewish New Year to all of our friends out there.
it was a wholesome podcast episode. As always, Blake, I appreciate your company. We got a lot of good stuff out.
I appreciate it, Brandon. I love talking to you. Love chatting about some games.